In my 27 years on this earth, I have spent 10 of those playing a little game called Destiny. I know, it pains my soul to admit that too. But what is perhaps even more painful for me to admit is that I have never played the game that started it all for Bungie. That, of course, being Halo. Unless you're really old and bring up the original Marathon, but I think most people bring up Halo. The original Destiny was the first Bungie game I played, releasing in 2014. I actually just wrapped up replaying through all 3 years of Destiny 1. Those videos I will of course link below for you if you're interested in checking them out. And I thought it would be a good idea to go even further back. I've owned the Master Chief Collection on PC for a while now, but never felt like I had the time to play it. There were so many good games that came out in 2025, from Expedition 33 to Silksong to Destiny 2 Renegades.
Oh, great heaven!
But now that it's the holidays and I have some more free time, I decided to set aside a few hours and play some of this classic game. Some of you may be wondering what my idea of Halo was going into this. What did I already know about before playing? Honestly, not a whole lot. I know you play as Master Chief. I know the soundtrack is amazing and sounds absolutely heavenly in the men's locker room. I know there was a TV show everyone hated. Master Chief took off his helmet, which he's not supposed to do. You see his butt and he has sex or something, I don't know. Clearly I know all the most important things. On top of that, I know about Red versus Blue, Cortana, the sword, the Warthog. These are all words I've heard before. In all seriousness though, most of what I know about Halo is its legacy. How many people love this series, how revolutionary and influential it was for console FPS games, and how massive it was for Xbox. What a fumble. I'm not entirely sure who YouTube is going to recommend this video to, whether that's Destiny players or Halo players or players of both. I'm sure the gameplay isn't going to be the greatest considering I've never played this game before in my life, and look, you all here are so accustomed to seeing nothing but elite gameplay, so that might be a bit of a shock to you. But I hope any longtime Halo fans can show me some grace here. I did try my best to familiarize myself with the Halo gameplay loop before starting this. Oh. Am I doing it right? One of the things I do find really interesting about this video is I feel like we all have those games we'd love to experience again for the first time. And even though that isn't possible, maybe some of you out there can go down memory lane through my experience. I imagine some Halo fans won't want me to use the Master Chief Collection for this. I'm not at all familiar, actually, with how well it was received and if it's seen as a valid way to play the game. I could be wrong on that, but I know people sometimes feel weird about remasters and remakes considering what was changed. Like, for example, I know a lot of people don't like the Arkham Collection because they changed the graphics, but look, this is the best I got. And at least as an outsider, having all these games in one place is very convenient. Being able to download parts of them individually, all from within the client, is so nice. And I do find it pretty neat you can hit one button and toggle between the remastered and old graphics. Oh, these are the original graphics. That's super impressive that they can do that. I wonder how they're even doing that. Whoa. It makes it look completely different. It's like, well, even the UI, everything's different. It makes it look like it's nighttime instead of, this looks kind of like more like daytime to me. The original Halo Combat Evolved was released in 2001 when I was only 3 years old. A little young to play a game like Halo, I'd say. I didn't really get into video games until I was older. I grew up with a Game Boy and a GameCube and all that. The Wii was massive when I was young, and I mostly played Nintendo games like Mario Kart or sports games like Madden. I was, as you could call, a casual. I have one memory from middle school going over to a friend's house and playing Halo, but that was so long ago I couldn't even tell you which one it was. I started playing more video games and branching out while in high school, playing stuff like Uncharted and Destiny. Uncharted probably being another clue as to why I've never played Halo. One of the first things that stood out to me upon starting the game was how old school it felt. You spent a few minutes not only being told what certain controls were, but the game let you test out inverted look controls and integrated it into the story. I'm not saying games don't have tutorial stuff integrated into the gameplay anymore or anything, but not a lot of them do it like this anymore. Speaking of the controls though, many of them were different than I thought they would be. Mainly, I was constantly finding myself trying to reload with X, but then it would just toggle my flashlight instead. I knew going in Halo didn't have things like sprint and you can ADS with most weapons, but right bumper being the contextual reload interact button was not something I was expecting. From the research I did, this changed in future Halo titles, and you can change this in the settings whenever, but this control scheme was back before FPS controls were basically standardized across the industry. So for the record, if you ever see my flashlight turn on during this video, you know what I'm trying to do.
Come here, bully. Clean. I keep hitting X, trying to reload. Does X do anything? Oh, it's doing something over there. Oh, it's the flashlight. Is it? Interesting. Okay.
One thing that didn't take very long for me was to fall in love with the starter weapon you get in this game. It's got cool animations, cool sound design, an awesome scope, and it packs a punch. I would have used it non-stop if it didn't constantly run out of ammo.
I wish I had that pistol. I sort of didn't even mean to set it down. That is a clean animation. Oh, they're giving me lots of ammo. Whoa, with one pistol round? Dude, I'm incredible. Dude, I'm incredible. I wish I could use the pistol more often. I haven't like seen it yet since the first mission. That's disappointed me. That was my favorite. That's like the what are they called in Dead Space? Like the first gun you get, like the plasma cutter. Dude, I love the plasma cutter. If you're completely unfamiliar with Halo or need a refresher, you play as Master Chief, a super soldier known as a Spartan, who's basically trained since birth to be way better at fighting than you're seeing here in my gameplay. In this first game, you're trying to stop an alien alliance known as the Covenant from destroying humanity. Within the first few minutes of the game, the Covenant invades the Pillar of Autumn, which is the ship you're on, and let me tell you, the Covenant means business. Oh shoot! My boy. Oh, goodness gracious. People are getting obliterated out here. This dude is completely unfazed. Oh, shit. What the heck? On a more serious note, though, a few things stood out to me immediately when playing this, especially as a longtime Destiny fan. Despite all of my comrades getting blown to smithereens and me finding it hilarious, I really appreciate that right from the jump, the game has NPCs fighting alongside you. It took Destiny a really long time to do that, and even when they do, it's not really all that impactful. They're usually just something standing off in the distance you barely notice, or some noteworthy character shows up for a couple moments, does a scripted action, and then leaves. I literally just brought this up in my Rise of Iron video. It's crazy how in 2001, like in this game, there's allies with us all the time, fighting with us all the time. But like, I just finished making the Rise of Iron video, right? And it's been a thing in Destiny for the longest time, where it's like, oh, there were 100 Iron Lords that went into this thing and not a single one, or like only 9 of us made it to the chamber. And then you just go and do it all by yourself. And how I criticize how it's like, you're never fighting with any of your allies. You know, it's crazy to me that Destiny doesn't do that when Halo did it like over a decade before that game ever even came out. It's crazy. And to me, Master Chief going in and doing something by himself makes more sense than like you, some random interchangeable Guardian that's like player created, you know what I mean? I know Destiny and Halo are different games. Guardians aren't really part of this army like Master Chief is, and Destiny has larger groups of 3 or 6 people playing online. The idea was likely that other people are meant to be the ones fighting alongside you. But there have been plenty of moments in Destiny where having key characters fighting with you would have made the story feel bigger and more impactful. Like in the last mission of the Final Shape, they do this, and it's awesome. But it's kind of unbelievable it took them 20 years to realize this. This isn't a Destiny criticism, just more of an observation, but from the beginning, Master Chief sees his comrades die, which is something you barely ever see in Destiny with resurrecting Guardians. I feel like it does quite a bit to make the world feel more alien and the enemies more hostile and dangerous. In Destiny, if someone dies, you're just hearing about it most of the time. For example, Eris tells you Crota killed her entire fire team, but it's not like you were there to see it.
Even when Cade dies, it happens in a cutscene. Not to say those aren't impactful at all, just in a different way than presented here in Halo.
Oh my gosh, they all died.
The impact. There's nothing we can do.
That is tough.
However, the biggest threat to Chief's comrades may be the Chief himself, aka me.
Oh, my bad, bro. You good? I'm not feeling much like the Chief. I'm feeling more like the you know what I'm saying? Oh, they blow up. Okay. So you stick them, and then when you My bad. That one's on me, Chief.
Because of the Covenant's attack on the Pillar of Autumn, you are forced to abandon ship and take an escape pod to the Halo Ring. You're probably going to think I'm stupid for this, but I had no idea the thing was literally called Halo. It'd be like if they named Destiny the Traveler. I knew Master Chief had sex, but I had no idea this thing was literally. Speaking of things that are stupid though, I gotta talk about this Warthog. I don't know if the Halo fans are gonna come after me for this, but I just gotta be honest. It's around this time the map opens up and you can traverse the level with a vehicle. Cool idea. I would rather walk. The Warthog, in this game at least, may be the worst vehicle I've driven in any game. It went from, dang, this is kind of hard to drive, to, am I doing something wrong, to, this thing just sucks. I was not upset that I got it stuck somewhere and had to proceed on foot. Don't hurt me.
The controls on this are certainly interesting. Jeez, this thing has got some drift on it. It's tough to drive. Dude, this Warthog sucks. Yo, this thing is horrible to drive.
I wonder if people would consider that to be a flaw.
Like, I feel like a lot of modern games, like if what happened to me happened in a modern game, they'd probably just gift you another Warthog. Whereas in this game, it's like, oh, tough. That's tough, my guy.
I will touch on a few other negatives I experienced here. This feels like it was probably more of a sign of the times than anything else. Some of you keen-eyed viewers may have already noticed, but your health does not get restored in this game when you die. Other than your shield, which passively recharges, the only way to heal yourself in the original Halo is by picking up medkits, which maybe it's just me, but they felt pretty scarce. Now let me be clear. I actually agree that a lot of modern games are too handholdy with objective markers everywhere and you never die because your health regenerates super fast. I am not a fan of Atreus telling me the solution to a puzzle because I haven't figured it out yet in 20 seconds. But this is not a fair or fun way to make the game more difficult. Playing with 1 HP makes you play too cautiously. I take no issue with the medkits being sparse, just at least replenish my health when I respawn. That's all I'm saying. Halo was also a lot more open than I anticipated. There were certainly times where I felt like some of the levels were dated and where you were expected to go next was a little bit too hidden, but I do find this sandbox approach nice and impressive, honestly, for a game this old.
Pace, this game is really slow. At least in these early missions it is. Like, I'm kind of doing a lot of aimless wandering. I'll say like checkpoint reached, and then 30 seconds will pass. One of the NPCs will say something, and then I'll kind of be like, okay. I'll see he was like, a ship came in. I was like, okay, where? Let's walk over here. Maybe I'm supposed to be on the Warthog when my guys keep dying, so. I will say, I mean, these levels are rather large. Like, shoot, we just looped around the whole island. I mean, for such an old game, they kind of have like a large sandboxy feel, which sometimes does make me feel like I'm getting lost, but sometimes, I mean, it definitely adds to the scale of the world that they're doing here. It does a better job making you feel like you're inhabiting this foreign alien planet, you know, instead of it being like this curated video game level area.
As I was getting further into the game, I kept picking up on so many similarities between Halo and Destiny. Obviously, you have a lot of overlap between the style, the concepts, the ideas, but I noticed a lot of stuff outside of them both just being sci-fi FPS games. The super soldier hero archetype, the grenade usage, the structure of the enemy units, enemies drop in from ships like Destiny, you get shielded guys where you gotta shoot their hand to open them up like Destiny, or I guess Destiny has that like Halo. Destiny has added gameplay variety over the years and relies heavily on mechanics and fights, especially in dungeons and raids and things like that. But it was nice to see Halo have some variety other than just shooting right from the jump.
It's absolutely wild to me how like, you know, I get done replaying through like the Destiny 1 campaigns for videos, and within like the first mission of a game from Bungie in 2001, this is already like, this segment right here is like more mission variety than a lot of Destiny campaigns get. Just like anything other than just the shooting, you know? You can already see though, like the Destiny influences. Like obviously not the fact that there's stealth, but just like Cortana sort of behaving like the Ghost. Or I guess, you know, obviously the Ghost behaves like Cortana because this was made in reversed, but I'm sure there's tons and tons of little Bungie DNA in this game that you would see if you've played, you know, playing them in reverse like I am.
One other similarity I do want to touch on is the story. Now, I have heard for years about people being let down by Destiny's narrative, with Halo having set the bar. I don't want to speak too much on this because at the time of writing this, I'm only 4 missions into the first game. But at least as of now, Halo's story has not been as interesting as I was expecting. It is certainly better than the original vanilla Destiny campaign. It is way more coherent, but I also find it to be very basic. The ship gets invaded, you land on a planet, you find your allies, and now you're trying to stop the Covenant from activating the Halo ring. I actually find the lore of Halo and some of the characters to be more interesting than what's actually going on, which is exactly how I feel about Destiny. So maybe it gets way better. Like I said, I am super early into the whole franchise, but I'm also wondering if maybe Bungie's world building has always been better than their moment-to-moment storytelling. The two things Bungie is consistently amazing at, though, is music and gunplay. These were things I expected to be great, and they are quite great.
Watch this.
Now, as I alluded to, I played the first 4 missions for this video. Depending on how well this video performs, I can make another part to this, either of this same game or another Halo game, but I was probably just going to finish the rest off camera. But what did I think so far? I really enjoyed it. I think most of my criticisms can be chalked up to the game's age more than anything, and I know I'm playing a remaster, but the gameplay holds up surprisingly well and is still very fun.
Whoa. Dude was ahead of his time. He's using cooked.
I imagine a lot of Halo fans look at this game the way I look at the original Uncharted. I can sit down right now and play through Drake's Fortune with a big ol' stupid smile on my face. I love it. That game has so much nostalgia and holds such a very special place in my heart. It's what got me to love video games when I was younger. I can play it over and over and over again, and it will never get old. At the same time, if someone were to sit down and maybe make a YouTube video playing it for the first time, I would fully expect them not to like it as much as I do. It was ahead of its time in many ways. You can see the influence that game has had on countless other games that came after it in its genre. But it's a very short game by today's standards. It's a very small game by today's standards. The shooting and controls are not great by today's standards. People probably hate the jet ski part, just like I hate the Warthog. They probably think it has the most basic level design, shooting gallery rooms over and over again, more than they've seen in any other game. And you know what? All of that is valid. Halo has, without a doubt, left a lasting mark on a lot of people, and the games industry as a whole. And even though I'm not sitting here like this was the greatest thing ever, I can recognize how innovative this would have been at the time. I can see how this led to even bigger and better games, just like how Drake's Fortune led to Among Thieves. That DNA is still there. That style of gameplay still works. These controls and these concepts and these gameplay loops are some of my favorite parts of Destiny, and you can tell it all started here. So I'm glad I checked it out, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. Speaking of watching, if you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by leaving a like. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Comment below your thoughts and history with the Halo franchise, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.